Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Manya Kamara, aka the bougiest hippie. Welcome back, you guys. I'm sorry that it's been so long since I posted a video. I've actually been traveling lately, and it's just kind of like been hard getting into the flow of managing, you know, doing my life and also filming it and filming behind the scenes thoughts and getting them edited and uploaded on YouTube, all while traveling and doing stuff. It's just been hard trying to find that balance, but I'm back and I have a great video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about happiness, okay? And the theme of this video is going to be stop chasing it. Stop chasing happiness. Okay, if you're confused, then good. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more. What if I told you that the source of your suffering, the root of your pain, lies directly within your pursuit for joy? The reason why a lot of us cannot achieve happiness is because we have been told lies about what happiness is. In this society, happiness is often confused with pleasure. And I want to make this very clear, you guys. Happiness is not pleasure. True happiness is a state of inner and everlasting fulfillment that can be curated by its own command. Okay, pleasure is externally motivated. It is never satisfied. It requires constant stimulation and it feeds the ego. It does not feed the soul, it feeds the ego. Okay, and like I said, it's never pleased and it causes you to constantly chase, which is a part of living in the inverted mind. The inverted mind is the mind of lack. Okay, the mind of smallness, of just being anti-self, holding yourself on a lower vibration. It's a form of self-victimization, actually, in my opinion, when you are living in lack. Your subconscious is secretly in love with the fact that you are a victim, that you keep losing, that people keep doing you wrong. It starts to fall in love with that narrative, okay? And it starts to make you think that that is all that you are, that is all that you will ever be. And this is why I say that it's a form of self-enslavement, okay? Because you're not allowing yourself to evolve to a higher frequency. Your subconscious wants to stay on the frequency that it's on. It's so easy for us to accept negative feelings. It's so easy for us to accept anxiety, fear, doubt, worry, depression. Okay, but it's just as easy to accept joy and accept happiness and accept abundance. We can do that just as easily. We just haven't been programmed to do so. Okay, and that's really the issue. So how do you reprogram your mind? How do you reprogram your mind to choose joy every day? A lot of religious and spiritual philosophies refer to this too, but I think of your inner self as like your inner kingdom, okay? And this is why I love the description of the 5 pillars in Islam, and I know I did like a short little video on that for you guys. I almost want to do a longer video because I feel like understanding your foundations is like the most important thing you can do in order to build a stronger inner kingdom. And it comes from understanding like, what am I built on? What is my kingdom built on? What are those pillars, those values that I stand on in my life? Okay, so first and foremost, your inner self, your mind, your soul is an inner kingdom. Okay, now imagine you're in a castle, because like it's like your body, right? Your body is like the castle. You live inside, okay? You live inside of it, and imagine somebody coming and knocking at your door just because they want to come inside and create chaos in your home. Why would you let them in? And it's like, okay, maybe you didn't realize at first that this thing was coming into your home with bad intentions, but the second you realize, why not kick them out? I know that sounds super weird, you guys, but that is literally how this works. Okay, anxiety, depression, like imagine these as like entities, because that is what they are, coming in and invading your home. Why are you giving them a place to stay? And on top of that, why are you accommodating for them? I constantly see people being like, I gotta take my depression pills. I gotta listen. Say what you want to say. I'll do a long video on this if I see fit. But you know, pills and medication, that might be a good temporary fix, but you're still just choosing to adapt to the depression, adapt to the anxiety. You're allowing it to stay in your home. You're like, listen, you can stay here. I'm just going to make these accommodations to make it easier for me. Like, if it's hard for you, they shouldn't be staying there. You know what I mean? Kick them out. I know it's easier said than done, but it's not really. It's just coming to that understanding subconsciously that we have a hard time doing. And that's why people think it's harder than it is. Because most of the time they're saying, yeah, I want to do that. Let me just do that. But their subconscious is saying no. So it takes habitual practice in order for that to become a reality. And this is where patience comes in. Okay, happiness being a long lasting thing is not something that is going to be achieved quickly and by the snap of your finger like pleasure is. Okay, now pleasure is the works of the devil. Okay, the devil will give you what you want when you want it right away. God gives you what you need when you need it on his time, and it's always the best timing. Okay, so let's remember that too. Good things take time. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of time to rewire those thoughts and feelings that have been rooted in your subconscious. Okay, the way I see it, once you have a foundation that you decided to build yourself on, you begin to grow within that foundation. But can we also remember, you guys, that plants do not just grow one way. As they're growing up, they're also growing down. They're growing roots. So not only are they blossoming into whatever it is this soil, this foundation is producing of them, but they're also developing roots in that soil. So reworking your subconscious is going to be difficult because it involves detaching yourself. It involves uprooting these negative thoughts and replanting them. It's not that easy. You can't just be like, okay, switch. You have to uproot your thoughts. You have to uproot these negative habits, okay? And going back to what I was saying about your inner kingdom and things such as anxiety, worry, doubt, fear, depression, almost being like entities, which they are, by the way. It's almost like people develop, I want to say it's almost as if people develop abusive relationships with these entities. Okay, have you ever thought about somebody who's in an abusive relationship? Maybe you know someone, maybe it's been you before, maybe you've just heard about it. But what always happens when that person is in an abusive relationship is all their friends and family, their loved ones, maybe it was you, are just looking at them like they're crazy. Like, what are you doing? Get out, leave the relationship. Like, why are you, it's so harmful to you. Why would you want to be with this person anymore? But we know from experience, from seeing other people go through it and maybe having been through it ourselves, that it's not that easy. Okay, because this person has become rooted. Okay, they become rooted in their external environment, what they see. Their subconscious believes that this is what they deserve and has formed an attachment to this person. They're rooted now in this person, okay, and having this person in their life. So when you're in an abusive relationship, you start to almost become, well, you become attached, first of all, and then secondly, you become defensive of the thing that is harming you. Okay, and I see that a lot with people who struggle with worry, fear, doubt, anxiety, depression, becoming defensive of it. I'm like, I don't think you should take pills. I don't think you should give that any power. And they're like, but I have to give it power because you're arguing with me on behalf of why you should be giving a negative emotion power. You're in an abusive relationship with the devil. I'll tell you that. Okay, like that has no power over you. It doesn't. It only has the power that you give it. I'm sorry if that sounds blunt and insensitive, but it is the truth. It is the truth. And once your subconscious accepts that, things will begin to change. Okay, and I'm not saying you can't have your temporary fix here and there, because sometimes we do need to just do what we need to do to get through the day. Okay, but don't think that the work is over just because you took a pill. The work is not over. Set your boundaries. Okay? Establish those pillars, rework those foundations. What do you stand on and what do you not stand for? Okay? And ask yourself that before you allow an emotion to come into your space. When anxiety comes knocking at my door, I'm like, you have no place here. Oop, not there being a fly. When anxiety comes knocking at my door, I'm like, you have no place here. When depression comes knocking, I'm like, you literally have no place here. You are damaging, you are destructive, and there's a wall. So you can stay on the other side of it. I have built that wall. Okay, when happiness comes knocking at my door, you're welcome. You're welcome to stay. You can live here. In fact, I invite happiness in all the time. Okay, you get to curate happiness. That's the best part. You get to create it. I also think it's really important to know that joy, happiness is also not the absence of its opposite, okay? Joy is not going to be the absence of sadness. Sadness is very different from depression, okay? Depression is hopelessness. Sadness is a regular human emotion that we have to experience in order to understand joy. It is contrast. Shout out my video on contrast, you guys go watch it, okay? The biggest problem when we start to feel hopeless, when we start to feel depressed, it is because we are not allowing ourselves to experience. There is literally a bug in here, y'all. It's because we're not allowing ourselves to experience the full of something, the whole of what happiness is. Like I said, it's different from pleasure. Okay, pleasure will always give you what you want when you want it, but it has its consequences. Happiness is, you know, it's peace. It really is peace, and it's accepting things for as they are, okay? Understanding that it is something that you curate. Like I said, you apply the meaning to every situation, so it's going to test you. There's going to be a difficult situation that you experience that you're going to be tested with, okay? And you have to decide, am I going to make this a joyful moment, or am I going to start to feel hopeless about it? Am I going to fall into depression because it's not what I wanted? That's your choice, okay? And this is why I want to get into the topic of optimal experience. I've been reading this book called Flow. You guys should definitely read it, but it basically talks about how we cannot get rid of difficulties and, you know, I shouldn't say negative, difficulties and difficult emotions out of our life. We can't get rid of them, okay? But all we can do is change our outlook and strive for optimal experience and make it so that happiness plays a bigger role in our lives, okay? That pure joy, the high side of joy, okay, plays a bigger part in our lives. And this is done through your own creation, you guys. This is done through the meaning that you assign your experiences, okay? We must allow emotions to exist, okay? What you resist persists. You have to accept emotions as they are, allow them to come and go. It is part of it's the part of the human experience, okay? And once they've done their job, they will leave with peace. Okay, they will leave you in peace, and then you will find its contrast. Okay, we need to accept the whole of what happiness is. It's an unconditional love of life. It's an unconditional love of self. Okay, and to be unconditional means accepting the difficult parts, accepting the flaws, accepting the harder experiences, and finding joy from them. I went to New York a couple weeks ago, you guys, and this trip was so crazy. Like, it was great, but I was laughing because I'm like, the average person who hasn't trained their mind to think the way that I think would probably be very annoyed this entire trip and angry and not having a good time, because just so much was going wrong, you guys. First thing, I had to cancel my flight. So I flew from San Diego to New York. I had a layover in Philly. My San Diego flight was delayed, and it made me miss my Philly flight to New York. They didn't have anything else until the next day, and I had to get there for a shoot. I had a modeling shoot that I was not going to miss, okay? And I was like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna cancel the second leg of my flight, and I'm gonna take the train. So why do I get to Philly and they're trying to send my luggage to New York still? Meanwhile, I'm taking the train. I'm not going to the New York airport. So it was a whole thing, you guys. It was a whole thing. I'll explain that because I'm actually going to do a video / vlog thing on my trip to New York. So stay tuned. That should be coming. It will be coming this weekend, okay? Because I've been procrastinating on it. I need to get it done. Okay, but you'll see more about that story there. But either way, I think that the outlook that I had on the experience, what made it a good experience for me, because I was just thinking, like, any average person, like I said, would probably apply a very negative outlook to this experience because things are not going their way. And this is kind of how we've been programmed to think. When something is not going our way, then it must be bad. Okay, like even just now, you guys, I recorded this whole ending to my video, like starting from here all the way to the end of the video, and come to find out my mic was being weird the whole time and you couldn't hear a word I said. So now I'm like re-recording it, but stuff like that just happens sometimes, you guys. That's life. That is the nature of life, and having contrast is part of the human experience, okay? And the outlook you apply to it is going to make or break whether or not that experience serves you, okay? And this kind of brings me to my next point, which is going to be about gratitude. Gratitude is living in the true mind, the abundant mind, okay? Finding a way to see value in every single thing around you. And that is the real and true practice of optimizing your experience. How can I see value in this situation? How can I see value in this person? How can I see value in this challenge that is presenting me? Okay, how can I benefit from this in some way? Okay, finding value in everything is optimizing your experience, okay, because this is the process of how we apply meaning to things, okay? This is the process of how we rewire our subconscious. So practicing gratitude is a must, you guys. Practicing gratitude is a must, okay? Realizing how things are being done for you and not to you is going to shift your perspective greatly. Okay, another thing I want to mention is creativity, because as I've mentioned before, we are creators. We create our own joy. And not only that, but we have the ability to recreate things, okay? So when somebody gives us negative vibes or bad energy, we can take that energy and we can recreate it into something that serves us. Okay, think of like a musician who gets done shady by a friend or like a family member or a lover. They take that negative energy and they rework it and they put it into their art and they put it into their music. Art is the physical manifestation of our own self-acceptance, okay, or non-acceptance. And it reveals things about us that we can't always see without putting it right in front of us, that we can't always see without, experiencing it in an expressive way. So being a creator and practicing your art and expressing yourself is important because it's going to help you see yourself. It's going to help you see what it is that's ruling your mind, what it is that is steering you either in the right direction or wrong direction. It also kind of just sets you free. It allows you to examine yourself without having to spill your chaos onto other people. Spill your chaos onto a canvas, spill your chaos into a song, into a dance routine, okay, but not onto the world around you. Okay, so it's the safest way to experience your emotions, and that's why I think creativity is so important. It's safe, but it's also fun, and it's really uplifting at the end of the day. It makes you realize that more is possible for yourself, and it helps you to look more towards that higher self instead of that lower self, because just as much as you have a higher self, you do have a lower self too, and sometimes that one is the one that wins. Sometimes that is the one that is controlling you. Okay, and these two things can also be just described as like God and the devil, or just good and bad, whatever you want to see it as. But these both have influence over your life so long as you give them the power. So if you're giving God power, if you're giving your higher self power, that is what's going to reflect into your life. If you're giving the devil power, if you're giving your lower self power, that is what's going to reflect into your life. And sometimes we see this through our artistic expression. Okay, we express, we don't think about what we're trying to express, we just do it. And then we look back at our art and we're like, oh, is that what I was feeling? Oh, that probably comes from this. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, instead of having to make a mess in the world around us and hurt people or harm ourselves or just experience chaos all the time, which sometimes that just happens because that's life. But instead of having to do that all the time, we can do it in a controlled fashion. And to me, that is through art. Okay. So yes, just to recap, you guys, the 3 things that I want you to take away from this is that gratitude, acceptance, and creativity are the new practices you need to start implementing into your life on a daily basis in order to achieve an optimized experience of your reality, in order to get closer to joy, in order for happiness to play a greater part in your life. Implement these practices, but also remember, like I said, to have patience and allow this process to work on God's time. Allow this process to move day by day. Like I said, it's not as fast as pleasure, okay? It comes at a slower pace. It comes with its set of challenges and experiences that you're going to have to go through. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is part of your training. This is part of retraining training your mind. It's not going to be easy. You are in the process of uprooting yourself from negative thoughts and reworking your foundations and rebuilding who you are. Okay, so it's going to be a slow process. But yeah, I just want to end this video by saying stop chasing happiness, start creating it. Okay, I hate the idea of chasing happiness, of chasing your dreams. Like, don't chase happiness, don't chase your dreams, just attract them. Just attract them, just reach the frequency of which that existence of happiness to you must be on. Reach that frequency, and then it'll just get pulled to you. It'll just magnetize. You don't need to be climbing a ladder, struggling, or running after something. All you need to do is be in that same vibrational frequency, and you will attract yourself to it. And like I said, the way to rise and lift your frequency is through implementing these practices and optimizing your experience for the better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, sorry for the delay. I'm very specific about the content that I put out there to you guys, and I just like for it to always be authentic and real. So sometimes if I don't feel called to create a video, I just don't feel right putting something out there that I feel like wasn't my best work. So that might happen sometimes, but obviously I'm going to try to stay consistent. But stay tuned, you guys, because that New York vlog / chit chat video should be coming sometime this weekend. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or you want to know more about this topic, leave a comment down below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys next time.